Уважаеми зрители, ето ни във втората част на разговора ни с доктор Пол Крейг Робъртс. Първата част започнахме да говорим на икономическа и политическа основа, но задълбахме и в някои други теми, които определено няма да може да чуете в основните медии, колкото и да понякога да ни се иска. Започваме втората част. My question for the second part, the first question will be about Trump and his recent statement about those 50 days that he is giving as an ultimatum. There are different type of interpreting of this statement. What exactly we can read behind the message that he have sent about those 50 days?
Well, obviously, what we can read is that Trump doesn't negotiate. He gives ultimatums. So for the United States government, negotiation is that you comply with our ultimations. That's what negotiation is. So he has told Putin, you comply, you got 50 days, and otherwise we're going to sanction your trading partners, not just Russia, but your trading partners. Well, no one has pointed out that there's no description of what Putin is supposed to agree to. What is the agreement? No one's seen any agreement. So what is Putin supposed to agree to? Now, also notice that Trump has not sat down with Putin to resolve this. But this is a war. It's not a war between Zelensky and Putin. It's a war between the United States using Ukraine as a proxy against Russia. So Zelensky can't end the conflict. Only Trump and Putin can end the conflict. But Trump has made no effort whatsoever. So it's an ultimatum to do something that's undefined. No one knows what the agreement is that Putin has been ordered to agree to, or else.
Is it possible during the phone calls that they have a few times, I mean Putin and Trump, to be there something that we don't know, and based on these conversations by the phone, he's announcing and giving the ultimatum, or it's not possible to be like this?
It's not possible to be like that. Mm-hmm. If there's an agreement, it would be known. Now, you know, I've already said in the first part of this program, the military security complex is not going to permit Trump to get rid of enemies. We need enemies. So Trump can't make peace. And so all of this is a disguise to make it look like Trump's doing something and Putin is the obstacle. That's all it is. What's Trump doing? Making demands. For what? We don't know. Putin doesn't know. Now, Putin has made it clear that he is not interested in negotiations to end the war. He can end the war without negotiations.
Yes.
He wants negotiations in order to achieve a mutual security agreement with the West. He wants a new Ялта, a great power agreement. He wants to eliminate the cause of the root cause of the conflict. Well, Zelensky can't do that. He's a proxy. Only Trump can eliminate the root cause of the war by having a mutual security agreement. Once there's a mutual security agreement, the war disappears. And the mutual security agreement, in Putin's mind, includes getting NATO off of Russia's borders. Well, the military security complex will not allow Trump to do that. Trump can't do that. Why doesn't Putin realize it? Oh, he probably thinks America is this great liberal democracy. I don't think Putin has any realistic understanding of what he's dealing with. So Putin is demanding something Trump cannot deliver. And Trump is demanding something that's totally undefined. So how's it going to be an agreement? There can't be an agreement.
Yes,
And
obviously.
I'm convinced Trump doesn't intend there to be an agreement because the military security complex won't permit it.
But does it, I mean, when those 50 days passed, obviously nothing will be changed. Putin will not give away, that's almost for sure. What happens then? 100% taxes on other countries like China. I mean, this is making the economic war even bigger than at the moment, if it happens.
Well, I wouldn't think about it in terms of what it's going to do to the economy. That's all a creation of a stupid economist. What it's going to do is make more enemies for the United States. Who did Trump signal out as the three countries? China, India, Brazil, the three huge countries. He's going to create enemies out of three more large, important countries for the United States. That's what the conclusion is going to be. It's not going to be, oh, the poor Indians, oh, the poor China. He's creating more powerful enemies for the Americans who have already got too many enemies.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
So that's all he's going to do. I mean, I assume Putin at least knows that much. So these threats, and they'll disappear, or there'll be exemptions. I mean, how can you stop India from buying food and energy that it needs from Russia? You can't. How are you going to make them? You can't make them pay tariffs on that. You can only make them pay tariffs on what they sell to us. Well, what do they sell to us? All kinds of software programs that the entire country's dependent on. Well, who does that punish? It punishes the American companies. And they're going to be knocking on the door, the men in black, and say, "You're going crazy, Mr. Trump. You're not going to destroy us." I mean, the whole thing is absurd. But of course, the media hides it. Oh, they won't ever mention what's really going on. They hide it. Oh, it's going to hurt the world economy. That basically is not going to happen because it's impermissible. It's impermissible. Men in black will tell Trump to go to hell. There's nothing he can do about it. Okay. In fact, if he continues, you know what's going to happen? If he continues and he really pisses off the men in black, they're going to go around to the House, to all the representatives, and they're going to say, impeach him. And then he'll get impeached. And then the men in black are going to go to the Senate and they're going to say, convict him. And he's going to be convicted, and then he'll be prosecuted. And if Trump doesn't know that, he won't finish out his 4 years. The rhinos, Republicans in name only, they don't like Trump. They're cooperating with him because he's captured the American electorate, and that's a little bit of power, not much. And so they're going along. But if they are pressured by their campaign contributors, they'll turn against him. And so there's a limit on how annoying Trump can be to the established interest. If he's too annoying, they'll get rid of him. Look, you can, I posted recently an interview that I told you about. Margaret Truss, Liz Truss, the former British Prime Minister, had in Hungary recently. And she said the men in black threw me out of office because I was doing things they wouldn't accept, and I was thrown out of office. And I was powerless against them. They were so strong. There's nothing the British Prime Minister could do, even to protect herself. It's a short interview. It's 12, 13 minutes. You ought to listen to it. It's on my website. You can find it anywhere. It's an extraordinary interview. She is very forthright and describes that the power of the private interest, she said the Bank of England, the city, is far stronger than a prime minister. The Bank of England alone, without all the others, is all it takes. And so you should see that. It'll help wake you up. It'll wake up other people. It was a very courageous thing she did. She'll never again be allowed in politics.
Speaking about of waking up, behind all these political scenarios that are going on, no matter if it's with consequences or without, because some of the things at the first moment looks like very scary thing that is going to happen, and in the end of the story nothing happens like at all. During those that are happening at the moment here now, we have something that in the previous months and years was something small as a news sometimes. So I'm speaking about the currency, the new currency. How was the word? Let me see if I have wrote
digital.
The digital currencies. Obviously, it appears that not only the United States and the European Union, Russia is making digital currency. At the moment, China is working very hard. That means that there is some other thing going on. What is going to happen, for example, with the debts of the countries after implementing the digital currency? Will something major happen, and will something major change when it's implemented?
Well, if digital currency is implemented, it means it's the total end of any possibility of any form of human freedom. A digital currency means the government has complete control over all your assets, not you. You can't hide digital currency in your mattress. You can't have a stock of digital currency that you can bury in your yard somewhere. Digital currency isn't yours. It doesn't exist in any way that you can put your hand on it and hold some in reserves. It can be wiped out simply by the government pushing a button. And so it becomes the ultimate control mechanism over every member of the population. So no one has any independence from government or from the official narratives. So all dissenters are squashed. Shut up or you won't have anything to eat. You can't pay the rent. You can't pay your power bill. You can't do anything. So it's a total control mechanism over the population. It has no other purpose. There's nothing gained other than control of individuals by digital currency. There's no other reason for it. It is the ultimate 1984 George Orwell Big Brother control mechanism. And for populations to sit there on their butt and let this be shoved down their throats, they are inviting total tyranny from which they'll never, ever be able to escape. Because no other means of payment will be possible or allowed. And your ability to make payments will depend on whether the government considers you a good citizen. We already see this aspect developing in China, where they have that social rating system. Your behavior depends on whether you can have a driving license and be able to drive a car. It depends on whether you're able to travel, to have a passport. So this is the function. When they try to get people to think about, oh, what'll it do to the economy? This is a way of diffusing the issue, pretending always be some economic thing. It's a control thing. And they don't talk about it honestly. They say, oh, it's going to do something to the economy. No, it destroys forever any kind of independence on the part of individuals. That's what it does. And as soon as it's in, there's no such thing as freedom. It'll actually be a word and a concept erased from the AI-determined vocabulary in all languages.
Okay. Do the society, the people, the population, the civilization have time to resist on this, or it's done, it's decided?
I think the only people that could resist would be the men in black, and if it cuts across their interest, they'll find some way to block it. But I haven't explored that, and I don't know if it cuts across their interest. I think it does, because it turns the tables on them. It gives the government control over them instead of what they currently have is their control over government. So if the men in black realize that this is a dagger aimed at their power, they'll stop it. But I don't know that they'll realize that. I think all the men in black, they're concerned with the interest of the firms they represent. That's their viewpoint. They don't go beyond that. So they won't see the danger that's coming at them from this, because they're looking at the danger coming at them from some policy in Washington. So they won't understand that this is outside their normal vision. And so I just don't know. I'm glad of my age and that I lived during the last days of freedom on earth.
I don't have words. I don't know how to continue after everything that you have shared with us. Yeah. Okay.
Well, so you were going to ask about Epstein.
Okay, let's continue with Epstein in that case. You before a few minutes ago, you told me that if it's necessary, Trump will be prosecuted. There will be also impeachment on him. Is the Epstein a good place to start discreditation of Trump?
Well, it's being turned against Trump because he said he would release everything, and then all of a sudden there's nothing to release. And so this has made everybody think that he is on the so-called client list of sex trafficking of underage
That's
girls.
the logical, yeah.
So it's been turned against him. Well, you see, this again shows how easy it is to fool people. First of all, there's no client list because Epstein was not engaged in sex trafficking. He was a Mossad spy running a honey trap to collect blackmail information on the most important leaders in the United States. All the people who went to his island and to his properties in New York, they're all distinguished, high-ranking people. It's not a sex trafficking operation. It's a blackmail operation. And it was done to ensure the conformity of American foreign policy in the Middle East with Israel's policy. It's been highly successful. The United States, in the first quarter of the 21st century, has destroyed 5 countries for Israel. And now they're about to get us to destroy a 6th, Iran. Now remember, there were 7 countries in 5 years that we were supposed to destroy. Well, we've got 5. It looks like we're going to be working on Iran as 6th. So that's what Epstein is about. That's why there's no client list, because he's not making money trafficking sex to people. He's using a honey trap to give Mossad total blackmail capability over the United States government. Now notice, recently, Netanyahu was here again, the 3rd time in 6 months. We all thought he came because of Iran. You know, he's been lobbying Trump to use nukes against the Iranian underground facilities. But notice, there was no press conference. There's not been one report in the media of what they discussed. It's almost like he wasn't even here. This is unprecedented. Why did he come? He came, he told Trump, don't release the Epstein files. We don't want the Americans to know that we've been blackmailing their government for decades. Moreover, if you released the files, you ruin our ability to blackmail, because if the information becomes public, we can't use it to blackmail. So you can't release the files. That's, in my opinion, why Netanyahu is here, why there's not one word about what they discussed anywhere. It's just his visit has disappeared. No one, when did he come for? But what we did see is all of a sudden there's no files.
Is this a normal practice in the politic to blackmail someone, especially a leader, so high rank?
Oh yeah, it's common. It used to be done, of course, with very attractive, mature women. But it got, adultery got to be so acceptable it doesn't really work anymore. So they had to move to underaged women because that's seen as some form of child abuse and it's a felony. So they don't use the very attractive, sexy women that all spy services have used throughout history because it's now acceptable to have affairs. But it's still not acceptable to have sexual affairs with underage children. And what is underage? Just arbitrary. For example, when I was in high school, the age of female sexual consent was 14 years old. Well, now it's 18. It's a way. It's the only way you can blackmail them now.
Speaking of blackmail, and that will be the last question for this interview, isn't the 5% NATO tax that every member of NATO needs to pay is a sort of blackmail also? I mean, everything is covered very well in the idea for security and being strong against Russia and Iran and at one moment perhaps China, but isn't this too much? I mean, most of the countries were very happy watching the news, but the societies have calculated that this is a lot of money from their social systems that will give for bombs.
Yeah, this is the American military security complex and Trump. See what this does. This lets Trump remove the United States from the Ukrainian conflict and turning over to Europe. But it appeases the American military security complex because they will sell the weapons to Europe that Europe then gives to Ukraine. So this is a way of getting America out of that conflict without hurting the American military security complex, because Europe now has to spend 5% of their GDP buying weapons. So this lets Trump get out so he can start the war with Iran or with China. And it pleases the military security complex because it doesn't hurt them. It just gives them now instead of Trump giving the weapons to Ukraine, Europe will give them. But they'll get the weapons from buying them from the American military security complex. So that's all that is. The whole question is, why does Europe want to be at war with Russia?
Yeah, that's a serious question.
Why do they want to be at war? I mean, there's no possibility of Europe winning, even if we help them.
Yes, that's right.
Why do people want to confront nuclear war? I don't know why anyone wants to confront that. And clearly, Putin has done nothing toward Europe. He hasn't enforced any of the red lines that required him to attack the European countries supplying Ukraine. He's not done anything. He keeps saying, let's negotiate, let's make peace, let's address the root causes of the problem. The root causes are not the conflict. We have to address the root causes. We don't have a mutual security agreement. You got NATO on our borders. We feel insecure listening to us. We feel insecure. You know what that means? We might push a button.
And no one cares.
Can't you understand? Can't you understand Europe, America? Do you really want this kind of tension? What does it serve? The risk to destroy life, and nobody listens. They don't listen. There's no listening.
They are not listening or not understanding or not imagining the consequences. Which one is correct?
They're all the same thing. It's all the same. All of those. And there's no discussion. And there's no discussion in the American foreign policy community. There's no discussion in the media, the think tanks, the strategic studies institutes. There's not a mention. It's all, we got to get them over there before they come over here.
Who to be first?
Well, they're not coming over here. What the hell they want to come over? What does Putin want with Europe? A collection of failed states? Who wants that mess? I mean, Liz Truss has already said Prime Minister can't rule England. So, you know, this is the seriousness of the situation, is the total unreality with which it's approached. And even Putin is unrealistic.
One day the reality will come.
What?
One day the reality will come.
Yeah, there'll be thermonuclear explosions. See, one day, Putin will be trapped. There's nothing he can do but push a button. And he's bringing it on himself by tolerating more and more provocations, because the provocations get worse and worse. Remember, he did nothing when the Russian strategic forces were attacked. And now we've had Trump publicly ask Zelensky, if I give you long-range missiles, can you hit Moscow? Publicly. I mean, this is so irresponsible.
It is.
Because if there's a if the Russians mistakenly see an incoming missile, they're going to assume it's coming because of Trump. Can you hit Moscow if we give you the missiles? This is mindless. I mean, there's no leadership anywhere. It's just, that's the problem. No awareness. The denial of reality is total.
Sir, thank you very much for this conversation. It's very important, those things, to be shared with our public. I truly
agree.
hope we will be able to make another interview in the next couple of months.
Yes, of course. Of course. I would be glad to cooperate with you. I appreciate your interest, and I appreciate the fact that your questions touch on the real issues. And you're performing a very important service.
Thank you very much, sir. Уважаеми зрители, това беше предаването конкретно за тази седмица. Горещо ви препоръчвам да изгледате и двете части на този разговор. Заслужават си, важни са. Това е другата перспектива, която не бива да загърбваме по никакъв начин, защото може да се окаже реалността, и то в много кратко бъдеще.